everybody to our Team Awesomism podcast. We are a part of Team Awesomism Virtual Academy. If you're not familiar with us, head over to teamawesomism.com. We are an online virtual academy, and we are in the process of going international. We are for autistic adults all over the world. Before we get started, I want to say two major shout outs. Thank you, Brandon Hodde, for letting us use your music as always. Such a great person and friend, and we love your music. And also, I want to say thank you to Chang's Farm from Bentonville, Arkansas, because she gave us these gorgeous flowers to put on our podcast. We saw her at the farmers market yesterday. So if you're in the Bentonville, Rogers, Fayetteville, Arkansas area, anywhere in the Northwest Arkansas, please hit her up. She's got some amazing items. So let's get going. Okay, so I am so honored and excited to have Martin. Martin is just a beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, example of turning autism into awesomism. Martin is an autistic adult who does not let his autism hold him back. And he is out there every day fighting for autistic adults. And this is why we love him. And this is why we wanted to highlight him on our podcast. So, with that said, go ahead, Martin. Tell us all about yourself.
Well, first off, thank you so much for inviting me on. I am very honored. And being on podcasts like this, not only does it help me spread the word, but it also helps me be more comfortable stepping out of my comfort zone. So I do thank you for that.
Oh, you're very
Um, yeah. Just a little fact before I say a few things. When I was diagnosed with autism at age 5 in the early 90s, it was a difficult process and a difficult journey because back then it wasn't fully understood. It was still new. And so growing up, I really at first did not want to do anything with autism or anything, but as I started growing up and started seeing more support from classmates and teachers starting in college, and then I was like, you know what? I think I should start sharing my story and being more involved with advocacy to help really inspire others to share their story as well. And so, with the advocacy work that I'm doing, I wrote a book called Chatterbox: My Life with Autism. And cool thing about that is you get my perspective, but also my mother's perspective. And I think it is very important to share both sides of the story. And looking at others, there's not really a whole lot of books out there that actually share both sides. You mostly get one side of the aspect. And but other than that, I also have a YouTube channel, Martin's Autism Journey, I believe. We'll have to look it up. We're doing videos from misconceptions of autism to stimming to masking and all different types of stuff to really show like, hey, this is what all of this looks like and stuff like that. And I'm actually working on new videos pretty soon. I recently started a business and it just, yeah, thank you. And it just recently became an LLC. At first, it was a little difficult to like create the website and stuff. So we are doing a complete rebranding of everything to really help fit what I'm trying to accomplish. And so, but yeah, it's really great to be able to step out of my comfort zone and be there for those who need it the most. And
You just brought up something that was extremely important to me and
mhm,
said your book. And I
mhm,
really, really hope everyone gets out and gets it because having your mother's viewpoint and yours is so important. And I was just speaking at ICANN Dubai in Dubai. We'll talk about Dubai in a minute because I know afterwards you
mhm,
went to Dubai and spoke. We
yeah.
that was one of the things that I loved the most about ICANN. Everybody there was from a different walk of life. Some were parents, some were therapists, some were the autistic adults, some were family members, and everyone treated everyone else with respect. You know,
Right,
other
right,
parents have a viewpoint, like Peyton has a different viewpoint sometimes on how things go because he's the
right.
autistic adult. I'm
Yeah.
not. But I also have a right to have a viewpoint as an autistic parent. And the
Mhm.
fact that you wrote your book from both your mother and your viewpoint, I just think on a scale of 1 to 10, that's a million. I'm serious. I love that so much. I really would like to be able to promote your book to help you because I think that is something that we really, really, absolutely need more of. Like, I love that you connected it with you too, you know, the
Mhm.
two of you together because your mother, you were diagnosed right around the same time Peyton was, because that's when Peyton
Mhm.
was. And,
Mhm.
you know, it was difficult. We were grasping at straws. We were saying, okay, how do we find things? Who do we talk to? What do we do? How do we make sure that our children grow up in a world that not only that accepts them, but they can accept the things that the world doesn't accept about them, but they can accept about themselves. And that's why I've always told Peyton
Right.
since he was little that he had awesomism, not autism, because I told him God made him the awesome one. And I wanted him
Mhm.
because I knew he was going to go through life and have so many obstacles. So for me, it was stress. For his siblings, it was stress. For, you know, him, it was stress. And writing a book from all of our perspectives, or from both the parent and your perspective, is beautiful. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that.
Mm. Thank you. I do appreciate it. Here's something really unique. When we first decided to meet up or talk about this, and we broke it down into the most important topics. And so from like the earliers all the way to today, and the crazy thing is, we never read each other's part of the story
Oh, wow.
until we started putting the book together. We didn't know what we were going to talk about. We just knew about the topics, and that was it. And so it was interesting. I mean, I still kind of get nervous reading my book and stuff because I kind of get that feeling like, oh, I have to change this or not. But I've been trying my best to stay away for now because it's amazing. It actually 2 years ago became runner up for book of the year in biography or the autobiography category.
That's
I forget which.
fantastic.
Wow. Great
Yeah,
to hear.
I
thank you.
love it so much.
I in the chat I did send a link to it if
Okay, thank
anybody
you.
is interested. And then but yeah, other than that, I'm currently in school, um, going for my speech pathology. And the reason for me doing speech pathology is because I was nonverbal until about three and a half. And I mean, I still keep up or keep in touch with my speech therapist to this day, Michelle Garcia Winter, amazing individual. And the reason for doing speech pathology is because I want to give back what I received as a child
Love that.
and kind of really help out others.
That's beautiful. That, and you know, I want you to talk a little bit, please talk a little bit about
Mhm.
Dubai, because I was
Oh
so
yeah,
excited to see that you had gone there and spoke to them in Dubai.
Yeah. Well, what
yep.
did you like about Dubai, Martin?
Um, what I loved, everybody was so friendly over there. I mean, the food was amazing, of course. The architecture was very unique, but I also loved how when I spoke with these parents, everybody stayed the full 2 to 3 hours. Like nobody left.
Yeah.
And it really stood out to me because it's like, wow, they really, really want to be there for their child. And here is somebody that isn't from Dubai that's coming flown all the way from California. And it was just really special. And I've had, if I remember this right, some of the parents told me that they look up to me and they're gonna be there for their child, and that really stood out to me. And during the Q&A that we had after my speech, which I can send it to you to share if you'd like, we were blown away. One autistic kid who was joining us, I was sharing about my story and everything, and out of nowhere, he sings this song. Not like nobody told him to do any of that. He wanted to say something, and he shared a message of like everybody should come together as one. That
Oh,
blew that blew me away. And the great thing about that is because he really enjoys the singing, he could use that as a way to share his story.
right.
Oh,
And I wish I recorded that, but it's like everybody was stunned. It was an incredible, beautiful moment.
That is so beautiful. And I agree with you. I see one of the things that I've been to Dubai many, many times. And one of the
Mm-hmm,
things that I love about them there is they really have a lot more, they still have the etiquette and the manners. If they come to listen
yeah.
to you speak, they stay to
Mm-hmm,
listen to you speak. They're not
yeah.
sitting in the audience thinking about, okay, how can I run out and now do something? And
Right.
they came there, you made a difference in their life, and they will carry
Yeah.
that with them. And I saw your part of your speech because I saw what you had put out, and I thought this is just beautiful because I'm I can't speak for your mother, but I feel pretty confident
Mm-hmm,
that your mother feels the same way that I do. We would have loved to have been able to go and hear someone like you when
mm-hmm,
you and Peyton were little. So
mm-hmm,
you're changing lives. That's why we started the virtual academy.
mm-hmm,
And people said to me, well, there's children have autism too. And I said, I'm aware. But what you guys don't realize is there are so many autistic adults, especially 25 to 75, who have been left behind and are being left behind.
yep.
And the more awareness, that's why we're literally traveling the United States for 6 months for the virtual academy to raise
Mm-hmm,
awareness for what autistic adults are going through. And that's
right.
why, like, while we're out and about, we want to talk about your book with different people. We want to tell people
Mm-hmm,
about you. Go to your YouTube channel because the virtual academy
mm-hmm,
is not just about me and Peyton. The virtual academy is about autistic adults. This is about people like you, people like Tom Island, people like Dr. Carrie Maygrove, who are out there every single day saying, the world needs to not just be aware of us, but accept us. And I love it. I love that you wrote the book.
exactly.
I love what you're doing. And that's why I was so excited to have you on our podcast because you are such a beautiful example of turning autism into awesomism. And I'm serious. And I love that
Thank
the
you.
people of Dubai were, I knew they would be kind hearted because that's the kind of people they are. And,
Mm-hmm,
you know, if I can
yep.
just say this, please keep being you, Martin. You're a very special
Mm-hmm,
person, and we need more Martins.
thank you. I do appreciate it, and I'm going to do the best that I can. And this is how I see it. I know there's days. Is it going to be tough? Of course, but it's like those little roadblocks are just one little roadblock into our life, and it's just like there was a I don't know if I should. There's this quote that I came up with, and it Sorry, my brain's a little tired here. It came to my mind when it was raining, and I was writing the message of hope, and looking at the flowers and everything blooming outside from the rain. A quote that I came up with is, if I could see, we are like a flower waiting to bloom into something beautiful. When it rains, that essence of life gives us hope we will blossom at the right time.
That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's like, and the reason for that quote is everybody hits their milestones at different times.
Right.
And so, and it's just like when a flower is blooming or hasn't bloomed yet, that rain, it's kind of like our steps towards achieving those milestones and being the best version of ourselves and not giving up and continuing to really be ourselves.
I love that. That's beautiful. Peyton, you had a question for him.
Yeah, yeah, I got two more questions. What is your favorite
Okay.
music genres?
My favorite. Wait, what? It did break up a little bit, so I apologize about that.
Okay, what is your favorite music genres?
Oh, music genres. Oh,
Yeah.
I have a lot. Um, um, EDM. I actually created my first electronic music track that I'm actually going to be releasing in a few weeks.
Oh,
Just
sweet.
finalizing the artwork. Yeah,
Awesome.
and then depending on depending on how my day is going, like if I'm really stressed out, I listen to more musicals and stuff because it helps my brain kind of calm down. Or
Yep.
like when I'm at the gym, I'd go like different kinds of more heavier music, like rock and stuff like that.
Cool. Yeah, I love jazz and electronics music.
Right on. I'll have to send you my track.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
Cool.
Peyton also likes country music like me.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool. I love it too.
yeah, I do
Uh-huh.
too. We have several up and coming country music stars that really are supporting the virtual academy. They've been so wonderful to us. They're like, feel free, because sometimes we just, make videos for the academy out of pictures. Like we take a lot of pictures, Peyton turns them into a video, and then
Yep.
we put music to them, and they've all said,
Right.
just use it. Don't worry about it. You can use it, and anything you want, don't worry about copyright, nothing. And that's really beautiful because it's their way of supporting the autism community, and I love that.
Right.
you
That
know
is awesome.
it really is. Okay, Peyton had one other question because he told me he really wants
Mhm.
to ask you this. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What do you love about photography, and does it help you express some of your views especially for the autism world?
Yes, photography is a great way. Like it's definitely very expressive, and the one thing that I love about photography is, for some of us, we are able to explain things more visually.
Right.
Like, yeah, and I'm actually working on a second book right now that's more photography based, but the
Cool.
way I see it, photography is like seeing the world through our eyes.
I love it.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I've been doing photography for about 2 years now,
Oh, nice.
trying to, yeah, it's been really fun and very relaxing too. It's one of my visual stims that I like, just walking out and like hike and being able to take pictures of like nature, like the different scenery and stuff. It's definitely relaxing.
That's awesome. I think it's great too that you're expressing yourself in different venues too, because
Mhm.
you know, too often people have a stigma around autism, people that are not in the autism world, and they try to decide what autistic adults are. And when people like you get out there and say, I listen to all kinds of music. I do photography. I write books. I'm going to be a
Mhm,
speech pathology. People go, oh,
mhm,
wow, and you're by doing all that and putting that out there into the world, you're breaking down all of those barriers because people
yeah,
stop looking at you in one way and thinking, because I know this happens with Peyton a lot. They'll say to me,
mhm,
oh, I bet he's really good with numbers. Like they all think he's Rain
mhm,
Man. And I'm like,
mhm,
number one, he's standing right here. He can
mhm.
answer your question. Number two, just because you saw Rain Man doesn't mean that that's Peyton. He
Right,
doesn't sit every day, all day looking at numbers. And so,
right,
when you're out there doing photography, you're flying to Dubai and you're speaking to people about in Dubai, you're writing a book, you're going to college. People go,
right.
oh, this is amazing. And I love it.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's great. Oh, I just lost my train of thought there. Apologize about that. We are capable of doing many things, and it just it takes that little push of encouragement to be able to do what we love.
I agree. That's part of what
Yeah.
the goal of the virtual academy is too. And by the way, I would love to extend
Hmm.
an invitation to you. If you would like to have a class on the virtual academy with any, because it's videos. We do it with videos so that they could, it's not like, oh no, I can't go to a class between 2 and 3. It's
Right.
I want to watch a class at 2 o'clock in the morning because I can't sleep. You can watch a
Right.
class. It's always when you want,
Right.
you can run it backwards, you can run it forwards. So if you ever want to have a class on there and talk about
Hmm.
things or show your photography, whatever, you are more than
Hmm.
welcome to. We'd love to promote.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Now, definitely. There is one thing I forgot to share, which I would love to do. I know we talked about this earlier, but with one of my recent advocacy triumphs, to put in perspective, we have, or like the mayor of San Jose, I wrote him a letter about 3 months ago now, asking to promote autism awareness and acceptance for the month of April because I mean mostly towards acceptance because when you think about it, awareness means that people are aware, but that's really it. But
Yep.
with acceptance, not only are you aware, but you could also take the necessary steps to reach out to them, help them whenever needed. And so, where is it here? Just last month, he here it is, the proclamation signed by the city of San Jose from the mayor all the way to the city clerk and the different council members.
I love this.
Wow.
Way to go,
That's
Martin.
that's awesome, Martin. Way to go.
That's
And I
beautiful.
stepped out of my comfort zone. I was like, you know what? I really want to start seeing change in the city. And I wrote that letter and now here we are.
I think it's so beautiful. I want to add something to what you were saying. You
Yeah.
you were talking about the awareness and acceptance. And I
Hmm.
just have to say thank you for saying that because I one of the things that I say when I go and speak to different groups and stuff is, if I'm sitting at my desk and I'm looking out the window and I see an elderly person on a bike and they
Hmm.
fall and they get hurt, I'm
Yeah.
aware that they're hurt. They're laying, they're hurt, they're crying, they're hurt. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Okay. If I choose to go back to working, I'm doing nothing. If I accept
Right.
that they're hurt and I accept that I have to help them, I get up, I go out there, and I
Hmm.
actively call 911 and help them and
Right.
make sure that they're okay. We have to
Right.
get past awareness and get to acceptance and then
Exactly.
actively get out there and help the autism community in any way we can.
Exactly. And that was one of the that's something that I've been pushing towards. And I'm actually, what I'd like to do is start going, or if I ever get invited to different speaking engagements, I really want to promote that, awareness over acceptance, because it's like we take 2 steps forward, yet multiple steps back.
Yes.
And I think when we start going towards acceptance, we will start having more steps forwards, and eventually be where we really want to be. I mean, where we feel like our voices are heard.
I agree.
And I know there is a long way to go. I totally get that, but I know with, like, even with me sharing my story, I'm taking that step into hopes that people will start sharing their story, whether that be through photography or, from what I said earlier, with music, and however they feel like they can share their story. They just need to know that take your time. Just absolutely take your time, because Rome, I mean, just like that one saying, Rome was not built in a day. I know it's going to take some time. And I feel like hearing other people speak or see all this stuff that others have achieved, then that could give them that little push that they need to really start going.
I love it. I think it's great. And that's why we were excited to have you on our podcast. And if you are listening to this podcast and you would like to have Martin speak at an event, please reach out to him. We will include all his contact details in the bio when we put the podcast out. And please look him up, follow him on social media, share the love with him, because he's an amazing human being. He's doing so much. And he's right in the age group of autistic adults that really we need to be listening to, because he was raised like Peyton, when us parents were getting up every morning saying, what do I do? How do I do it? And so he's out there sharing his voice, he's sharing his mom's voice, and I love it. And we are so thankful that you agreed to come on our podcast. You're welcome anytime. And you were such a delight to have. And keep doing what you're doing. And we're happy to promote you any way we can, because it takes more people like you. Because with people like you, Martin, autism will turn into awesomism. And what you did with getting the mayor to recognize that is a very big deal. And God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you again for having me on. I'm glad we found time to actually get this going. And I really look forward to helping out however I can, even with your company as well. I want to be able to help out.
Sorry, I had
And
go ahead.
no worries. One last thing for those who watch this. Well, I should say, hold on. There we go, losing my train of thought again.
Okay, so why don't you give us a very brief overview of what you have coming up and what everybody can do to help you?
Perfect. What I have coming up that's still in the works. I'm waiting to get my work schedule in order, and then once I start finding different conferences to speak at or get invited to, I'm going to start reaching out and everything. It would be nice to kind of grow my account on Instagram. I'm currently at 1,500 followers, I should say, but it would be nice for others to see, in hopes that it inspires them, and to help, or for parents who really don't understand autism that well, to know that, you know what, this man is a is a beam of hope for us. And as I do end this, there was one thing or a goal that I've had in mind, and I want to inspire somebody to where they come up to me and say, because of you, I have not given up. And that is my ultimate goal. And I'm going to be working hard and really be there for the community, because more needs to be done, and I'm not going to stop. I'm going to be advocating a lot more than I used to back when I was a little kid, and really, really be there for the community and the parents, especially those kids who are newly diagnosed, who really don't understand it, especially like with that. I don't know if you saw that basketball player, Tony Snell.
Yes.
He was recently diagnosed and he didn't know it, but and he didn't know until his son was diagnosed. And so I'm trying to reach out to him, and I'm actually going to see if I could send him a signed copy of my book and really, really be there for him, and to say, you know what, everything's going to be okay, just keep up the good work. So for everyone watching this, just know that you're not alone. And even if you haven't hit milestones yet, it is totally okay. It takes time, and you will blossom at the right time. So thank you.
Yes, it's beautiful. Thank you. And I agree. I mean, I think too little is being done for the autistic adults that are being diagnosed later in life, especially.
Right.
And there are many who are in their 40s and 50s and 60s, and their parents are passing away, and we as a society are doing nothing to help them. And with 75 to 85% unemployment rate, that's just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It is. And that's why I see a lot of people talk. Not a lot of people do. And that's one of the reasons why I really have respect for you, because you do. You don't just talk, you do. And that's why we took the virtual academy to the road. I mean, we're literally living in hotels for 6 months while we go from city, town to town, to city to town to spread the word about autistic adults. And yesterday we were at a historic grist mill, and we had on our Team Awesomism shirts, and a lady said to us, do you mind me asking what those mean? It opened the door for us to talk about it. And she,
that's amazing.
And she listened. And this is why we do what we do. And that's why we want desperately to lock arms with people like you. We're not trying to, do more than you or do what you're doing. We're trying to work with you, because you know what? The more of us in the autism community who work for the cause and not the applause are the ones that are going to make the change.
Definitely.
So thank you so much for coming on our podcast. We are always here for you, and anything we can do to help you, Martin. And like I said earlier, please don't walk, run, get his book, follow him on Instagram, and support him. And if you have an organization, call him and have him come speak.
Please do.
Awesome. Yes. That would be. Yeah, it was nice talking to you both as well. And, if it all works out, I'd love to come back on, and I have some ideas that we could talk about in the future.
Martin, you are welcome on our podcast anytime. I'm serious. Just reach out to me and we'll set up a time. Anytime is fine with me. Okay?
Perfect. Well, thank you again. And for those tuning in, thank you so much. It really means a lot. And I really hope that this inspires you to really help the community out.
I love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.